Hi, I'm Vivian the Knitter.
And I'm Allison the Crocheter, and you're listening to Keep Calm and Carry Yarn.
Thank you so much for joining us for episode 44 of Keep Calm and Carry Yarn, a knitting and crochet podcast brought to you by me, Vivian, and my daughter, Allison. I'm coming at you from New Hampshire.
And I'm recording from Scotland. Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Did you miss us? We accidentally skipped a week.
Accidentally?
We didn't plan it, but it was because you were here in Scotland and we were just too busy to stop and record.
Yep.
But we will talk about our adventures later on in the podcast.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yes.
But first, we just had a special thank you, yeah?
Thank you, Angela, who is 3 Zs on Ravelry. She said hello. She is originally from Germany, but lives in Sydney right now.
Or she's been living in Sydney for Australia for a long time now.
Yeah, so hi right back.
Hi. And she was saying that she will be waiting for our EYF recap. So yeah, it will be coming. It will be coming. And so I picked a sort of EYF appropriate quiz, which is not actually a BuzzFeed quiz. It is a love knitting quiz, as in loveKnitting.com.
Mm-hmm.
But it is, which breed of sheep is your spirit animal? That's a good one. So,
yes.
What breed of sheep are you?
I got Peruvian Highland.
I got that one as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Ah, man. So, it says, you're the top gaucho of the herd. You feel at home in the great outdoors. Your style is fuss-free and effortlessly chic.
It's nice because, the quiz gives you the answer, and then you have to scroll down below to see which each of the answers is, which I feel like is more like your typical, like when you used to do like a quiz in a magazine, because with the BuzzFeed quizzes, you don't see all the different results.
Yep. So it's got four different breeds.
Yeah, you could have been Merino, Blueface, Leicester, Peruvian Highland, or Falkland Islands. I'm reading them, and I'm trying to decide if we would have fit something else instead. Like, I feel like I like being outside, but I don't know that I'm like an outdoorsy person.
I'm the same way. I like being outside, but I wouldn't consider me like...
I feel like you could have been Merino. Loved by all, you live life to the full. That could have been you. I think should have been a Blueface Leicester.
Attention to detail.
But let's see. So I'm sure we had some common answers. What was your ultimate sweater?
The classic sturdy jumper I can wear every day.
Yeah, I picked that as well. Which I can see how that goes with the sort of outdoorsy. Yeah. So it's all about the latest trends, soft with fabulous drape, or fine and fleecy. The other thing I was thinking was soft with fabulous drape, just because that sounds great, but I don't know that I'd actually wear it.
It was between 2 and 3. I mean, I do like a good alpaca, though I don't have any alpaca sweaters, so... Perfect Sunday morning?
My perfect Sunday morning. I picked brunch with friends in town.
Oh, I said lion followed by Sunday television in your PJs.
I mean, that's probably my usual Sunday.
Uh-huh. What about favorite season?
My favorite season? Autumn.
Me too. Though I had a hard time deciding between spring or autumn because those two, I think I might like the same. I'm not sure. It depends on my mood, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel like I've always really liked autumn because of back to school. Because I'm a nerd.
Yes. Says the child that used to cry at the end of school.
But I feel like maybe now I quite like summer as well.
Well, you don't have much summers in Edinburgh.
I'm looking at this and now I feel like...
What about your dream holiday escape?
I picked city break, visiting lots of museums and galleries. But I feel like what I wanted was... I almost picked British country retreat, but that's not really like my dream holiday escape because I live here. But I wanted something a bit more relaxing than backpacking in Australia and a South American adventure. but
yeah,
not
they didn't have like a beach holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked British country retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right. So that was the quiz. We're both Peruvian Highland sheep.
Uh-huh. Alrighty. WIPs.
So I have my baby blanket, which is kind of like a WIP / FO at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
So last time I was really hating myself and it. And this time, it's basically done. But it doesn't look like anything like what it looked like the last time we talked about it. The last time we talked about it, each band of color in my baby blanket were different stitches. And you asked, what are you going to do about the
gauge?
The gauge. And I was like, I'm figuring it out. Well, I couldn't figure it out. So I literally sat on the floor with it for like, I don't know, a while, just contemplating like, do I just end it there because I can't figure out how to get the next bit of yarn together to like fit the thing, so it's like actually going to be a small baby blanket, or do I just start over again? So I started over again from the blue side instead of the orange side, and it's the same stitch all the way through it.
I really
I've
like
just gone
it.
with the star. I went with the star stitch because it was the most solid of the ones that I had done, and it's just really cute. So yeah, I finished it a few days ago, and it goes from the navy, blue, gray, white, yellowy, orangey.
So it looks very similar to the knitting daisy stitch,
if you say so.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's done, and then I picked some fabric to go on the back, and that came the other day, and I've washed it and dried it, and it's really cute.
Oh, it is really cute.
It's called Meadow Safari by Louise at Paper and Cloth for Dashwood Studio. And what's funny is I actually went to John Lewis just to go to the haberdashery section to get some thread to do this, and they actually had this on the bolt, so I could have just gone there and bought it. But it's
got tigers and
it's got like tiger, giraffe, lion, zebra, elephant, and like it's
really in the same colors. It's very
yeah. Well, duh, exactly. So yeah, there's lots of orange and a little bit of blue. So I'm gonna try to figure out how to crochet that on. I've found a tutorial and I've watched the video and stuff, and Melanie Ham is her name. How to hand sew lining to crochet blanket, no sewing machine. So I'll let you know how that goes next time, because the baby has been born. His name is Ned.
Oh.
And he's a he.
He's a he. And that's perfect.
Yeah.
When are you going to see this baby?
Don't know. I mean, it was literally just born this past week.
Oh, okay.
Which today is Sunday, when we're recording this, and it's Mother's Day in the UK.
Oh.
So she gets to celebrate her very first Mother's Day as well, the mom.
So you guys aren't doing anything for Mother's Day then?
No. Sam's mom lives far away. Not as far as you, but... So that's my WIP. Well, yeah, other than the honey... I'm still working on the honeycomb cow. But I've not really done much on it because I've been frantically trying to finish this baby blanket. You don't have any WIPs?
Not to speak of. No.
But you have FOs?
I do have an FO. I finished my sheep mittens. And I actually wore it in Scotland. I'm so happy with them, and they're so adorable, and they were very warm on those windy days. I wouldn't have been able to wear them at home because I wouldn't have been outside the way that we were outside in Scotland. But the funny thing is, the red and the green of the flowers, the poppies, and then it's got little pink ears on the U side. And the lips are supposed to be pink. Those are duplicate stitched on. So they're done after the knitting is done, and you just like stitch them on. And I suppose I'm not very good at duplicate stitching or something, but the lips made it really pop out. So it looked like it had like lip injections. It was really weird looking. So I ended up ripping out the pink for the lips and just left the ears. And so
yeah. That's cute.
That's cute. I was very happy with it.
I feel like, right, so you've got a head and a butt on each hand.
Mm-hmm. So,
and then when you put your hands together,
you have
with the same sides facing.
Yeah.
You've got them, yeah. But then I guess because then when you flip your hands, so like if you're looking at your palms, you've got shape.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you flip your hands and you're looking at your backside, it doesn't
it looks like this.
The natural, like the face is kissing the butt instead of.
Well, that's because there's a full shape on each mitten.
Yeah, like that's kind of otherwise because if you wanted it to work, where when you flipped your hands it worked, you'd have 2 heads on one hand and 2 butts on the other. Right. It's very, very cute.
It's very cute. I really like it. And I used the Knit Picks yarn. The white background is Knit Picks Bear Hair. It's got Angora in it, and I can't remember what else.
It's really soft.
It is very soft. And then the colors are just palette. It's kind of like their it's a non-superwash. They have like 100 colors. It's great for stranded knitting and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep, that's my FO.
And that is for
me,
the Colorwork KCAL.
Yes, that's for the Colorwork KCAL.
And that's still running until the 26th of April. So
we have 27.
Knowing you could bang out another project. Just start one today and still finish it for the end of the KCAL.
Yep. But I have another FO that's non-knitting related.
You do.
And the reason why I wasn't doing a lot of knitting and couldn't talk about last episode. It was for you. It's for your wedding quilt. 3 years later.
I have it here. Yay. Yeah, my wedding quilt, which when you were saying that you were working something that you couldn't tell me about, I don't know why. It wasn't only until after we finished recording that I realized it must be a gift for me. I don't know why that didn't occur to me. But yeah, I've got my wedding quilt. I know I've mentioned it on the podcast before, but basically when Sam and I got married, instead of having like a typical guest book, we had our guests sign bits of little triangles of fabric that I had pre-selected. And then
I pre-cut.
And you'd pre-cut, and then you have now made it into a quilt. And it's lovely. And I kind of forgot like all the different fabrics that I picked, and they all look cute together. It took me ages to pick them. But
yeah, and not all your friends could follow directions.
No, not all my friends could follow directions. Like, so I've got you hand sewed some of the triangles on the back because people had written too close to the edges, even though we'd even drawn on like guidelines, like don't write outside of these.
The seam allowance. I drew on the seam allowance and said don't draw near the seam allowance or don't write near the seam allowance.
And some people wrote on the back side of the fabric. Actually, only one of them has a back, or 2 of them have a back. One of the ones that they were writing on had a back. So basically, the fabric that I based everything off of was the one with the birds. And seeing this fabric makes me realize that it's got like a kind of mustardy, greeny color at the background. So I was liking that color even before like it became super popular, like 1-2 years ago. And it's got cute little birds.
3 years ago.
I picked the fabric 3 years ago, or more than 3 years ago. But like that color, I feel like has become really popular in the last couple of years. And then I picked out colors from the birds for the other fabrics. So I've got like a navy and white polka dot, and a mint green with little gold arrows, and a plain coral. But yeah, thank you very much.
You're welcome, baby. Yeah, there's one of the blocks or one of the pieces where somebody wrote on the front and back.
Well,
like what am I supposed to do with this?
One person wrote on the back, and a second person wrote on the front. So 2 different people signed the same piece. So yeah, that's just like a floater that you didn't include on the quilt.
Yeah. So, do you have any FOs?
No, I don't. Because I've just been working on this baby blanket. And also been busy with you.
Yes.
At
gallivanting.
EYF. Will we talk about that now?
Yay. Yeah, that's our big yarny bits and bobs.
Yeah. This next section will just be yarny bits and bobs.
How did this EYF compare to your others, since this is your third?
I think I wish we had more than one day, but it was definitely felt much more relaxed not being part of the podcast lounge. We kind of just do what we wanted at our own pace and everything. And I feel like, because I didn't have that pressure, I might have enjoyed myself a little bit more. Like, I feel like the minute I walked in, I just couldn't stop not smiling. Like seeing everybody's sweaters made me happy, and just just knowing that everybody around you is as excited as you are just to like shop for yarn.
Yeah. So I flew over to Edinburgh the day before we attended the festival with my girlfriend Paula. This is the first time she's been to the EYF, and also the first time she's been to Scotland. So we only did the one day on Friday. Mm-hmm. It was pretty exciting because while we were in the queue waiting to get in, we were recognized.
You were.
We were by Ziganitz from Iceland, right?
Yep, Sika.
Yes. So she turned around and was like, "Excuse me," and very shyly said that she watches us and she enjoys, or she listens to us and she enjoys our podcast. So I was pretty pumped. I was pretty excited, and that just made my day.
A good start for the festival, considering we were in line. We hadn't even gotten in yet.
Yeah, we weren't even inside yet, and we didn't. Neither of us had any badges or anything on. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was fun. And though, knowing that we're only going to be there for a day, that meant I had to make my purchases on that day. Because when we went last year, other than the earrings, I think, I didn't buy anything the first day. And then, because I just looked around, and then I made most of my purchases the second day.
Yeah.
So there was the fear of, they're going to run out today.
Yeah, because that happened to me.
Yes.
A couple times.
Yeah.
Which was really
because
annoying.
I guess most of the vendors only bring X amount per day, and if they run out that day, then
they're out.
You can't get it until the next day.
Yeah.
But we're not going the next day.
Yeah, so annoying. It's okay. I'll stop complaining. Do we want to talk about the stuff that we got? Some of the stuff that we got? All the stuff that we got?
Sure, if you want.
Yeah. Nice.
I don't feel like I got that much.
Yeah, I mean, I bought yarn from 4 vendors. 4 different vendors.
I think I only bought yarn from 3 different vendors. I was very much in control of my purse.
Yeah. Well, I know. So one of the vendors that we were both interested in, as well as your friend Paula, was the French one. How do you pronounce that?
Yes. Biche Boucher? I don't know. Biche and Boucher?
Yeah, that one. Yeah, I think that was on my list to check out because I just really like their branding, I think was part of it. Uh-huh. And it says, "We are a Scandinavian family settled in France, wool, knitting, and photography creation and community." So they do a lot of kits and sweaters, but they also sell yarn. And all 3 of us wanted to get sweater quantities of this yarn, and that was we'd seen them at the beginning, like on our first walkarounds, and then by the time we came back for our second one, the color that I wanted, there wasn't enough, so I didn't get my sweater quantity from there, but you did.
I did. I got a dark blue fingering weight.
Mm-hmm. And it's lamb's wool, yeah?
It's lamb's wool, yeah. It's very squishy. I think I might go a little blind knitting with that because it's really dark. Mm-hmm. But I'm sure I'll enjoy it. So that's what I got from them. And then I didn't get anything until towards the end of the day after I got that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I did end up getting my sweaters quantity because I want to make not the Blurred Lines by Addie Day sweater. So instead, I got the yarn from Hey Mama Wolf, which is a German brand, and that they do all sort of naturally dyed wool. So I got a sort of a similar color. They had like a sort of, don't know how you would describe it. It's like a seafoam green.
It's like a pale robin's egg.
You think?
Well, from the screen, that's what it looks like.
A pale robin's egg. Yeah, but slightly more on the greeny side rather than...
On the green side?
Yeah, on the greeny side. Similar to the one that I wanted from the other place. So I'm pairing that with a natural, like, cream off-white and a light grey. And that's 100% organic wool from small farms in Germany, hand-dyed. Merino, land, race, and black-faced sheep. Origin, northern and eastern Germany. Processing, Germany and Czech Republic. So I think just the green one has been dyed, and the other two I think are just natural, undyed.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, this one, it says hollyhock green, so I don't know if hollyhock is what it was dyed with. That sounds planty.
You don't know? But I also bought a zippered pouch from Woolly Originals.
You did.
It's got pine trees, like different colors pine trees on it that was knit and made into a bag.
Machine
and the woman
knit.
said that they're what?
Machine knit.
Yeah, machine knit. And she said that the pattern was based on the Scotch pines.
Scots pine.
And she had a whole story about it, and I've already forgotten what she said, but it was very interesting.
So I have the bookmark for Woolly Originals. They're based in Edinburgh, and she uses vintage knitting machines to create bags for knitters, crocheters, crafters, and artists to use. So
I still haven't decided what I'm going to keep in my pouch.
Oh, the wool is
Right now it's
Jamieson's of Shetland. And then I remember her saying that the colourful speckly bits were somebody else. Phineas Fibers, I think, who were also at the show. But you were able to snag that before she sold out pretty early on in the day.
Yes, she sold out really early. When we saw her table, there wasn't that much on the table.
Yeah, I just assumed that was just like, oh, this is a sampling of, like all the different lines that I have with me today. But I think that was literally all she had.
Yeah, then we went by later on. It was completely gone. I also bought some little badges and pins from, and
I don't know. It looks Irish.
Oh.
So I don't know how to pronounce it.
They designed the sinister Cadigan pattern that I promised Madeline I wouldn't knit her one, and so I bought her a cat wearing a Cadigan cardigan pin, and so she can have a pin that matches her sweater when I make it eventually. And a couple other. I got you a pin that had
it's like it's a little Venn diagram with 3 circles, and the 3 circles, one says crochet, one says cats, and one says feminism, and in the middle it says me. I sent a picture to my friend who's not a crocheter or a knitter or anything, but she just responded back, LOL, that's you. I'm like, I
know. That's funny. I also got some, so they had the Shetland Wool Week patterns out, like free flyers, and I really like the hat for this year. It's a Colorwork hat with sheep on it, and so I decided I was going to knit that, but then they had like the 3 or 4 different colorways, and one of the colorways was in Jamieson and Smith, and they had the pre-bagged bunch of yarn ready to go for the hats, so I picked that one out. So that was my second yarn purchase. So I can't wait to get that started. I think I might start that soon.
That one's it had like the actual hat. What was like there were ships on it, and
there were ships and there were sheep.
Yeah, just to go back to the sinister cat person, just because we didn't actually say who it was. I found it online. The name means the little cat, and it's on Catine Biog.
I don't know. I don't even want to try to.
I think so. Uncatting yuck. Try that.
So they were on my short list that I had to visit because they had a lot of cat stuff.
Yeah, and when you first told me they had cat stuff, I thought you meant that somebody was selling stuff for cats, and that really confused me until we actually got there. Yeah. Speaking of pins, I also bought a little pin that I knew that I wanted to get. It's just a little golden hand, and it says Yarn Lover, and that was from Minnick. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but I think they make like really fancy project bags as well. And I bought a couple really simple shawl pins.
Yeah, I really like the dark one that you have.
Yeah, so there's like a black one. They're both like really,
like
really lightweight metal. Yeah, you think the black one looks like a bird, but it's just like really simple, like swoopy lines, and one just looks like a pin. I don't know. And those were
like a kilt pin,
kind of, but really lightweight. They wouldn't really work as a kilt pin. And they're from Textile Garden, but they had like, lots of like ribbons and buttons and stuff. So yeah, I also bought some buttons. They're really little. I have no idea what I was going to do with them, but I just really like them. They were just like little white ones. I think it's shell or like whatever. Yeah, and they've got little gold hands on them. So I bought 10 of them. Really, really don't know what I'm going to do with them because I can't imagine crocheting something where the buttonholes are going to be that small. So
maybe you'll sew something.
Maybe I'll sew something, yeah. So I have those. Yeah, and then were you talking about other yarn that you bought?
I only have one more yarn that I purchased, and it was from the Socks table. And I bought a book of sock patterns and some three colors of yarn that I'm kind of sharing with Paola because we're going to knit the same sock but in different colorways, except the toes and heels are
matching.
We're going to share it. We're going to share that color. It's like a pink or red. So that'll be fun. Maybe that. Well, if I did that, that's still a colorwork pattern. Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah. What colors did you get again? I know the shared color is like a kind of corally.
Yeah, it's the pink color, and then it's got a gray and a blue.
Nice. Yeah. And those are like pretty solid colors.
Yeah. So that's just regular. It's Coop Knits is the name of the place. 75 merino, 25 nylon. Your your standard sock yarn. And that was my final purchase of the day. I really did control myself.
Well, let's see, what else did I get? I of course went to the Crochet Project stall, and the last 2 years I've bought their latest shawl project books. This time I bought Everyday Wearables, which has got just different patterns, but I really like. There's one sweater in it that I really liked, and then a hat. The Charn sweater. And hat. Bren hat. But, so I got there, and I was wearing my top that I'd crocheted, the very first garment that I'd crocheted. I can't remember what it's called. But that one was designed by Joanne Scrace, and then I was wearing my Temperamental Artist shawl, and that was designed by Kat Golden, and they're the two people from the Crochet Project. So yeah, I obviously had to say hi and stuff, and
you were their favorite fan,
biggest fan
I think.
Day. Yeah, she was like, I think you're our biggest fan today. And then in terms of stuff that I bought, you bought for me a couple 50 gram skeins of yarn from the Border Mill, and they do lots of stuff with alpaca. So I got the alpaca rose. That's 50% alpaca, 50% rose fiber, and dyed with logwood, which I assume it's like a really nice light purple. And they had lots of like various shades of purple, so I assume all dyed with logwood or whatever. But it's really, really soft. I think I'm going to make a hat with that. And Paula bought some stuff from the Border Mill as well, because they had this whole series called to do with the North 500, which is a kind of like a 500-mile trail up in the Highlands that you can drive, like all around the coast. And I think like each different color is inspired by a different stop-off point. So it's called North Coast Tweed, pure Shetland yarn inspired by a trip around Scotland's far north coast. Yeah, Paula bought a bunch of that, and we had met up with Louise Hunt, and she was telling us the real story of all these places along, because like obviously for the yarn they've pointed out different places and why the color is that color, and she's picking up yarn like, this place is not this color. Like,
she's so funny.
Yeah. And then I also got a couple skeins from Walcott Yarns of their Opus yarn, because I feel like every time I see them, I touch their yarn, but I don't buy it because it's kind of expensive. But it's just so soft and so squishy. So I bought a navy and a kind of like a mustard. And then I also got 3 skeins from Ushatita? I don't know.
I don't know.
They're from the Netherlands. And they do like lots of, it's all hand dyed. A lot of it's the merino singles. So I got like a goldenrod and really deep, like dark teal, maybe, and then a speckly one that kind of goes in the middle. If anyone doesn't recognize the name, you might recognize the fact that on Instagram they've got 2 red squirrels that they rescued. So yeah,
they're really cute.
Yeah, but yes, that's all the yarn I bought.
Yeah, you bought more than I did this time around.
Yeah. Now I'm starting to get to the point. I did a big sort of stash organization, like got everything into Ravelry and stuff. And as I pulled everything out, I sort of thought to myself, actually, you know what? I kind of got like yarn now. Like I could stop saying that. Like, oh, I don't have that big of a stash. Like, it's a decent size.
My yarn is still in the shopping bag that I was carrying around.
Well, shall we talk about who we met at the Yarn Festival?
Oh, yes. I was so excited. So before we even got to the festival, I met Jennifer Tolan. She's JS Knitwear Designs on Ravelry, and she's a knitwear designer. And she was wearing one of her, I think it was a poncho, and she was knitting one of her shawls. And I looked over at her, and I'm like, is that a color affection? The Vera Valimaki pattern? And she's like, oh no, it's one of mine. And I'm like, oh, so we started talking. So she was thrilled that I thought what she was knitting was a Vera Valimaki. She was there with her mom. They were very enthusiastic, and the mom was very giddy, and she was just so sweet. And she was like a little kid in his candy shop. We ran into them again at the festival, so that was really nice. Mm-hmm. And I also met Mara Knits On. We met her in Dublin, because we flew into Dublin. Mm-hmm. And we were talking to her, and she's actually from around here in Massachusetts, and she knows Boston Jen. Yeah,
small world.
So those are the people that we met before we went to the festival. Mm-hmm. We also met Angela, NGB79 on Instagram. She was wearing a sideways knit shirt that I was admiring, and she told me it was a test knit and it was being released that day or no, that week. And she test knitted it for Laura Nelkin. Mm-hmm. It's a really cute design. And she has her own podcast, The Knitter Next Door. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Did you catch that?
I didn't catch that.
Yes.
I was leaving you guys to it because you were talking about knitting and I didn't really understand.
So, hello to Angela and Jennifer and Mara. Of course, we met Knitterati too.
What did you say?
We met some knitterati.
Oh.
We met Louise Scully. I was just surprised that she remembered me
From last year.
from last year. Yeah, and we talked to her for a bit. And I talked to Helen Stewart with Paolo was with me. You weren't with us. We were talking to Helen Stewart for a little bit. She's the Curious Handmaid, and of course Louise Hunt. We almost didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
She said she was going to be at the. Yeah, we had to track her down, and I ended up asking somebody, and then she had her because I don't have Louise's like phone number or anything.
Yeah.
So we were able to track her down, and we saw her towards the very, very end. Mm-hmm. So I was happy. Mm-hmm. What else did we see?
Katie, who's High Fiber Co., is a listener. So hello. She commented on one of our Ravelry threads before to say that she was going to EYF and going to Scotland for her honeymoon and everything. So she said,
that's right.
Hello,
that's right.
as well. And I hope the rest of your honeymoon was fabulous.
I'm sure it was.
And then I also met with Rosina from the Zines and Roger podcast. She was there on the Friday. She kind of came partway through because she'd just gotten to Edinburgh that day. And I know she went and met up with lots of other people on Saturday and Sunday, or at least, I don't know, the next day. But Friday was, I think, a bit more low-key. And yeah, I walked around a little bit with her, and it was really nice to, like, meet her in person. We met her last year, but really only fleetingly. Didn't really just kind of said like, hi, how's it going, blah, blah, blah. Okay, bye. But yeah, so it was really nice to sort of walk around with her and have a bit more of a chat. I'm sure we're forgetting some people, but I mean, we talked to lots of people, and I guess that's the thing about EYF is that you can just sort of talk to anybody.
Yes, it's like we ran into people, festival goers, after the festival too, and it's like a secret handshake. You see them wearing a knitwear, and then you ask them, "Did you go to the festival?" Like, yeah, we're talking about it. We met some German ladies the day before we were there, and we were talking about it because they were wearing sweaters. And Paola speaks Italian, so she ran into a bunch of Italian ladies, and they became friends. And one woman was asking her all these questions. She thought she worked at the booth, and then the friend was like, "No, she doesn't work here. She's a festival goer like us." And like, oh, but Paola's like that. She can be very helpful
and talkative.
That's my favorite part, was just the talking to people and catching up and meeting new people, making new friends.
It is funny, like when you get so absorbed in like this world or whatever, this community, that like you forget that no one else has any clue what you're talking about, or like what's going on, or like, you know, you're in Edinburgh, but most of Edinburgh doesn't know this is happening. Sam and I and you had a bit of a laugh because he plays football sometimes with some of the other pilots and stuff, and they, on their group WhatsApp, somebody messaged to say, if you drove, you're gonna have to park somewhere else because there's a freaking knitting festival going on, because where they play football is right behind the Corn Exchange. And Sam laughed because he knew exactly what they were talking about.
Yep, those crazy knitting people and crochet people.
Which is funny, like, yeah, like to an outsider, just who has no idea. The idea that there'd be a knitting festival is just so crazy and so bizarre that they just... Mostly it pissed them off because they couldn't park where they normally park, but...
No, well, we were at the airport and just talking to a bunch of knitters, and, you know, it's like talking like your old friends, because you're like, those on the way home, recapping the festival and talking about what they saw and what they were wearing, and it's just so nice.
Yeah. Well... It's over, but
it went by so fast.
It did go by really fast, and like part of me sort of wished that could have been the end of the trip, your trip, instead of the beginning. Mm-hmm. But we had a good end as well because we went to Skye.
We did.
How did you like that?
I wish the weather was nicer, but we got lucky. We didn't
There
get wasn't
drenched.
any downpour. No, we didn't get drenched on any of our
We didn't really
hikes.
get wet, really. We just got extremely windswept.
Oh yeah. So I mean, I definitely needed my hat. So I wore my Perry Floors hat the whole time we were there, and I had a scarf. But it's just magical. It's like another. It's like a fairy tale world. It's so beautiful.
It is, but it is also like you said, there's so much of it that seems quite barren as well. Like it's almost otherworldly in that sense, and maybe it's a bit different in the summer, but certainly at the moment, it's very rugged as well. So, what was your favorite thing to see on Skye, other than the sheep and the cows
and the coos?
Yeah.
Hiking to the fairy pools, I really like that.
Yeah, the fairy pools I thought they were amazing. Like I've read about them, and I've known other people to go and stuff, and it's one of those things that I could see they could be disappointing or just like not as good as what like the highly edited pictures would look like or whatever, but you go and they're just amazing. Like the water is so blue and clear and it's so pretty.
And cold.
And cold, yeah.
Yeah, when we parked the car and we're pointing out like where we had to hike and like that looks really far. Those people, they look like little ants walking up there. But it was totally worth it. It really wasn't that far.
No. And
it wasn't super windy that day, so we got really lucky.
Yeah, because we went on the second day.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the backdrop of the mountains as well.
You know, it's like I didn't realize how big the mountains were in Scotland. I mean, I was thinking more like
large hills.
No, I was thinking more like, you know, Adirondacks versus the Rockies.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't.
I mean, the Rockies are definitely bigger.
Yeah.
And more like majestic looking than like when you're in the Adirondacks.
Uh-huh.
Does that make sense?
So which were you thinking it would be more like?
Like the Adirondacks.
See, I don't see now. Now I'm going to Google Adirondack Mountains because I don't know how high the mountains are and stuff. Like,
well, I think it's because like when you drive up to the Adirondacks, you're like gradually getting higher and higher and higher and higher. And then when you're in the mountains don't seem that high because you've already driven up pretty far up.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then at the Rockies, it's just like it's flat, and all of a sudden there's a big mountain right there.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Just for comparison, the highest point in the sort of the hill mountain, whatever, behind the fairy pools is 992 meters, and the highest point in the Adirondacks is 1,629 meters.
Oh.
They're definitely smaller.
It just looks so much bigger because
like you said.
It just rises out of the ground.
I also really liked the Fairy Glen, which was just like a little pocket of land that there was just like little bits of water, like gnarled trees, little mini trees, and then just weird lumps of land, like little like cones almost, and like it doesn't.
They're like little. I thought for sure that they were man-made. They looked almost like they could have been cairns or something, like the way the hills were.
But yes,
ancient burial sites or something.
Yeah, but they're just natural and nothing to do with fairies. Just that it looks really otherworldly as a location, and it's definitely off the beaten track. And it's in terms of getting there, but I guess in terms of getting anywhere on Skye, everything is off the beaten track. So yeah, the two fairy themed, the Fairy Glen and the fairy pools, I really, really liked. They were really pretty. Okay, now you can talk about the sheep.
Oh my gosh, they were so cute.
So yeah, like well, I think we're just starting to get into the lambing season. Like you drive around, you don't really see very many babies.
Yeah, we didn't see very many. We kept looking for babies. Like, where are the babies? Where are the babies? Obviously, they're not outside yet.
Yeah. So as we were driving to Neast Point, there was a cottage and with a bunch of signs outside, Kelpie Cottage, and a bunch of signs for like Kelpie arts and crafts, like handmade felted wool things. But then another sign that said sheep in the shed. So we drove up, parked.
Oh, didn't it say lambs in the shed?
Lambs in the shed. Sorry, yeah, lambs in the shed. And so we drove up, parked just like in front of this woman's house, and she came out of the house, right?
Yes.
And just said that the lambs were in the shed. Just slide open the door.
Oh wait, she was with I think she was with other customers or with somebody else. She was walking them out.
I see. But yeah. So we went into the shed, and lo and behold, sheep in the shed, or lambs in the shed. So
it was a maternity ward, is what it
was.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we saw the two lambs that were only an hour old, and because when we walked in, we were looking at them, it's like, oh, they look really young, and then I'm looking at them like they look really young. I think that's their umbilical stump still sticking out, and then we looked at the mama. I was like, oh, she just gave birth to these because she still had the placentas like hanging out of her.
Yeah.
So, and then when the woman came out, she's like, "Oh yeah, they're only an hour old." Like, oh no wonder.
Oh, they were also
like walking around. They were very cute.
Yeah, and then there was the two sheep that were very adventurous and wanted to say hello. Mm-hmm. Little black and white ones. Oh my god! Honestly, Sam thought we were nuts because we were just like, "Oh my god, it's so cute! Oh my god, I'm gonna cry!"
I think they were a week old, right?
Not even that old. They were. It was either. No, maybe.
I can't remember.
Half a week old, maybe.
Oh my gosh, they were so cute. They were sticking their head through the pen, wanting to be pet, and the woman said that they were bottle fed, so they're probably thinking that we had bottles in our hands.
Oh my god, they are so cute. Oh my god, I'm doing it again.
Cute.
I can't stand out myself. But yeah, so there was what were the kinds of sheep that were in there?
What were they?
Yeah, she told us.
I don't know that I actually asked.
There was the kind that you get in the Lake District.
Oh.
They're like gray ones. Herdwick? They're gray. There was one of them, and she had a completely black lamb. And then there was Suffolk sheep, maybe?
That sounds
Suffolk
familiar.
Sheep. And they're the ones with like the really sweet black faces and white bodies. And then there was one more that was like the commoner one. Or there was more of them. You don't remember at all?
I don't. I was just
Oh, I know. White Cheviot.
Oh, okay. That sounds right too. I was completely overwhelmed by the cuteness. I didn't remember anything. I didn't take in anything that she was saying. I was just like, oh my god, the babies.
They were all really cute.
They were, and that's a lot of work. She had a few sleepless nights, I'm sure.
Yeah, just helping little babies into the world. And there were lots of pregnant sheep waiting to give birth, and they each had different colored like painted spots on their fleece to to indicate whether or not it was one lamb or two lambs on the inside.
Yes. Yep. Like I think it was pink for twins and green for one.
Yeah,
something like
maybe.
that.
Oh, so cute. Just want to.
Yeah, and we visited during dinner time. And so they were expecting to be fed. Oh, yeah. And when we left, they made a ruckus. Yeah. Like, wait a minute, you guys forgot to feed us.
That was pretty funny, actually. They were all buying.
Oh, that was so cute. On the way to Skye, we also saw that Highland cow.
We were on Skye at that point. We'd just been...
Oh, yeah, we're on our way to the hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, we'd passed by other Highland cows, but hadn't really been able to stop, didn't really have like convenient stopping points. But these ones were right there by the side of the road, so we did stop.
We took some really good pictures. And you actually touched it.
I tried, but the horns were a bit scary. He was the one that we were taking pictures of was very determined to scratch an itch on its neck.
Yes. On the barbed wire,
on the barbed wire, yeah.
Yeah, but that barbed wire was so full of
fluff.
Tufts of hair that I don't think
that
it was
like the
very
designated
Barbie
scratching spot. Another sheepy thing we did was we went to Island at the Edge, which is just a croft that you can go visit because they've got like a shop and they sell wool from their sheep and stuff. And I think they also do classes in the summer, maybe like spinning and stuff. And we talked to, I don't remember what his name was.
I don't know that he ever gave his name.
But he was just telling us all about their sheep and their croft and the stuff that they did there. We both bought some hand spun yarn made from their sheep.
One of the sheep's name was Big Fella.
Big Fella, yeah. He had like really curly horns.
Yeah, and he was showing us his kilt.
Yeah, his kilt was made all from wool from that sheep.
From Big Fella.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
I can't remember if he said that the fabric was hand woven or not.
I don't know.
It was pretty.
I got the idea that it was.
Yeah. But that's pretty cool. Being able to point to your shape and be like, yeah, I got a kilt made out of you. So yeah.
And then there was a sweater too that was made from white fleece. That was pretty cool.
No, it was the sweater was like a dark fleece as well, was it not?
Was it? I'm probably remembering something else now.
Yeah, because he didn't make the sweater, but he was telling us he knew the spiel about like all about it and stuff, and it's the particular style of it. It was really heavy. He was explaining.
Yeah,
he
was
was
a fisherman's gansey.
Yeah, that. So it's just like, I don't know, however it's made, it's really tightly knit to keep you warmer.
There's a lot of bobbles and cables and stuff on it.
But yeah. So
yeah, that was pretty cool. And he had a couple of Highland cows out in the front.
11-month-old ones.
Yeah, they were pretty small. They didn't have as much bangs yet.
No, and no horns. He was telling us about the original Highland cows. Before they were breeded to be bigger, they were much smaller. They were called Kylos, and I looked it up afterwards, and it's spelled Kyloe or something like that. And there's actually a restaurant in Edinburgh, on the other side of town, called Kylo, and now I know that's probably why it's called that. Yeah. So that was our trip to Skye.
I wish we had a little bit more time.
Yeah, we could have used more time. We did a lot of driving around and stuff and not as much going out to walk just because it was so windy. Like, I would have liked to have walked out to Nice Point to the lighthouse, but it's on it's on like a jut of land, and it's quite. I mean, it's not super narrow. Like, it looks totally safe to walk on, but I could just imagine because it's just like water to your right, water to your left, you would have just been.
It was so wet,
windy.
though. I felt like I was going to fall right through.
Yeah.
Along the edge of the cliff. It was a little scary.
But yeah, because that's the most western point of Skye.
But the funny thing is about going to Skye, when you asked me if I was interested, I was like, yeah, of course I want to go to Skye. I've heard all about it. Not all about it. I've heard a lot about it, and I want to go. And I agreed to it. And then it wasn't until like we were getting ready for the trip, and I actually Googled how far of a drive it was. Well, mile-wise, it's not that far, but because it's mostly small roads, it's going to be a 5-hour drive. I was like, oh crap, I don't know if I would have agreed to this. I knew it was going to be a 5-hour drive. But it was definitely worth the wait, worth the drive. We did stop at a couple of spots on our way out.
Yeah, on our way out, we stopped and saw the Kelpies, which are 2 giant horse head sculptures in Falkirk. So when I said kelpies at first, you were thinking selkies, which are like seals, but kelpies
seals
are like horses. They come out of they come out of the lochs, and you ride on them, and then they run back into the loch and they eat you.
Nice.
So yeah, they're like giant metal sculptures. You can see them from the highway as well. So we stopped there. We also just did a quick potty break in the Trossachs National Park, just by one of the lochs. And there's a good viewpoint once you get into the Highlands. We stopped there for some pictures. We stopped in Glencoe a couple times. Is that it?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And then on the way back, we stopped at Eileen Doonan Castle.
Yes, that was really cool. That picture, you posted on Instagram, a lot of people commented on it because it's a very impressive looking picture.
Yeah, like that castle's been on my list just because it's so picturesque, and you get so many pictures of them on Instagram and stuff. Like, because I follow lots of obviously like Scottish photographers or like Photos of Scotland pictures accounts, and yeah, that castle, because it's on like a little island where 3 sea lochs meet, and although we went during low tide, so you could have technically walked to it without the bridge.
Well, we would have gotten really muddy though.
Yeah. But I didn't realize that it was rebuilt so recently.
Yeah,
from the ruins.
In the 20s, was it?
Yeah.
It started?
Early 1900s.
Yeah. But I was a little incensed that McRae, is it John McRae that built that, renovated it? He used all of his wife's money to build it. It's like, sad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure she was allowed to live in it too.
Well, her father was probably dead by then. I'm thinking. So that was very impressive.
Yeah. And then we kind of just booked it home because we were tired.
Yes, poor Sam. Yeah. He was a very good chauffeur, and you were a very good tour guide. You did all of your research.
Yeah, I guess. Just a bit.
Hey, more than I did. I was like, Paula kept asking me, what are we doing? I was like, I don't know. I'm not in charge. I just look at Allison. Allison, what are we doing?
I feel like you did not fully prepare her for some things. Like, we went to a ceilidh on your last night, and she did not know that this was for us to do dancing. She thought we were going to watch people dancing. I was like, no, you're dancing. Not that you didn't do too much dancing. To be fair, we were all pooped.
We were exhausted. On that morning, we walked the Royal Mile from your place and walked up to the castle and did the tour inside the castle. And then Sam picked us up and then picked you up, and we went to lunch. And from lunch, we walked to the Royal Yacht Britannia, which is really cool. I mean, we're, like the tour, you're like walking up and down the stairs and stuff, and I was fascinated. And it was like a 1.4 mile walk, I think, back to your place. And we're like, we can do it. I mean, I almost wanted to call Sam to pick us up, but then I felt, it's like, he's got the day off. Let him relax. So we didn't call him, and at the end of it, I was so regretting making the walk, because I was thinking, oh man, we have to go to that ceilidh tonight. Why did we walk? We were so tired. we just got back to your flat, took off my shoes, and I just laid on the bed. Like, I can't move. I was so sore and tired, but it was totally worth it.
But yeah, I'm not good at dancing. I remember doing at college, we're doing some sort of fundraising banquet, and my friend Michelle she used to do like ribbon dancing and lion dancing in California. So she had choreographed a ribbon dance for us to like perform, and so originally I was part of this, but then I had to drop out because I was like, I can't do this. Like, I don't know how to move my arms the way you're telling me to move my arms. Like, it's just, I don't know how to do it. I tried so hard and I couldn't do it. But yeah, I think when we got there, the first dance that they did was the Gay Gordons.
Yeah.
And pretty simple. Couldn't figure that one out.
And we've done it before, too.
Yeah. But I think it's just because there's so many people there at the very beginning, you could hardly move. So if I had a little more room to like maneuver, I probably could have figured it out.
It was a lot more crowded than I thought it was going to be. I think they needed a bigger space or sell less tickets or something. I don't know, because it was really crowded. We're like on top of each other.
Yeah. I think I posted on my own Instagram the video that you took of Sam and I dancing, and that's when we were doing Strip the Willow, and I kind of figured it out by the end.
Yeah, when the video that I took, it was before you guys figured out what were you doing.
That was like the first run through.
Yeah.
At one point, the problem was when I wasn't meant to be doing anything. I kept trying to do stuff, and they're like, no, you just stand there. I'm like, oh, okay, wait.
There are a couple of older guys in kilts helping out, and I just think the one guy was just like pushing you. Like, no, you go. That was really funny. But yeah, we had a lot of fun. I mean, I did a couple of the dances.
Mm-hmm. You did the Gay Gordons with
Paula.
Paula.
Okay, it's like who's the man? Are you the man or am I the man? And then I was the man for a while, and then afterwards, like, okay, you be the man. I'm getting dizzy because you have to twirl the woman. So that was funny.
Oh, you did some sort of waltzy thing with one of the older gentlemen,
yes.
Kilted gentlemen.
Yes, he had very soft hands.
He was in our set of 4 couples in the Strip the Willow, and you do a lot of spinning, and I spun very gently and gingerly when I went with him because he seemed very old
and kind of frail looking too.
Yeah, I was like the other guy who was telling or trying to get me to do the right thing. He was he was a larger man, and he really
more robust looking.
Yeah, yeah. But
yeah,
it wasn't
really fair that you guys had 2 professionals in your group, and I was watching the younger kids, and they had no idea what they were doing. They were like running into each other. Oh my gosh, it was so fun.
But yeah, no, it was lots of fun, and I think I could even convince Sam to go again.
Yeah, maybe when your cousin goes to visit in May, you guys can go again.
Yeah, in May. Right, we've been rambling.
We have been.
Yeah. But yeah, if anyone else was at EYF and didn't say hi to us, we don't hate you. We're just disappointed. But also, yeah, just let us know what you guys got up to, what fun things you bought, if you discovered anything that we didn't discover.
Yep.
You done?
Yep, we're done.
Okay, so you can find the show notes for this episode and every other episode on our website, which is kcacypodcast.wordpress.com. You can also follow us on Instagram at kcacypodcast. My personal Instagram is Allison here. My mom's personal Instagram is upstate_Viv. And make sure to subscribe wherever you're listening / watching to this podcast, whether that be YouTube or some sort of podcast app, and join our Ravelry group. Just search for Keep Calm and Carry Yarn podcast in the groups tab, and you can join in on the conversation on the forum, and you can also join in on the Colorwork KCAL. Just let us know what you're working on, and tag us, #Colorwork2019, #ColorworkKCAL2019, either of those, on Instagram. So thanks for listening.
And remember to keep calm and carry yarn.